Hi everyone, and welcome to another Ask Me Anything question. I'm Robin Vogels, the owner of Plan for Australia and Personal Relocations. Today's question comes from Louise. I nearly said the Aussie word of Loza. Louise in Australia would be changed to Loza. So Loza's question is, hi there, I'm looking to enroll my 3 daughters in primary school from July. Do schools insist on their own branded uniform purchased directly from the school? Here in Scotland, we can buy polo shirts from the local supermarket at half the price. So, Louise, thank you for your question. Yes and no, of course. It's a bit of both. Anything that the school has as branded, you obviously need to buy from the school. We don't have the option here, particularly in state schools, of being able to buy a red polo. So by a polo, I mean a shirt with, it's like a golf shirt, let's say. It's got a collar, but it tends to be a casual shirt. That is called a polo. So it's not necessarily a button-up shirt. It might just have 3 buttons, but it's not a linen shirt like I'm wearing. That would be called a shirt in Australia. A polo is more like a sports-looking shirt, okay? And a lot of the state schools will have polos. So to come back to the question, if we don't have the option here of just buying the badge and sticking it onto a polo shirt, you'd have to buy any branded uniform from the uniform store. That might also include school bags. Some schools have their own backpacks that are branded, and you'd have to get those from the school. Other schools might not have their polo shirts branded, but only the jumper or the jersey that goes over the school uniform, that might be branded. In that case, you can go to the stores and buy just a red shirt or blue shirt or whatever it might be. And stores that would have those clothes would be Big W, Kmart, Best and Less, Target. They all have plain grey shorts, grey longs for the boys, polo shirts in different colours, definitely sort of probably what we call house sports here. So house is almost like a team within the schools, and there's usually 4. So they might be red house, blue house, green house, and yellow house. You'll get the polo shirts in all of those. So even when the children do sport, you can get those polo shirts from department stores, and cheap and cheerful if you need them, because kids grow out of their uniform, let's face it. So we don't want to be spending a lot on there. If you are enrolling a child in a school and you have to get branded uniform, ask the school if there is a second-hand shop. Very often that's run by volunteers, so some of the schools don't have it, but often we're finding that those have now moved from a physical second-hand shop to a Facebook marketplace, where it might be that just the parents of that school know about that place in Facebook to buy second-hand uniform. And when it comes to private schools, those items of clothing that you don't wear all the time, like a blazer, for example. A blazer at private school at the moment is probably around $300. So if you can get that secondhand, definitely do it. The children literally just wear it to school and to home. They don't wear it during the day. There's no wear and tear on those, and there's no reason why you couldn't go and pick one up from a secondhand store. Private school uniforms at the moment per child can range around, I would say you need to be budgeting around $1,000 for private school uniform. And state uniforms, that is creeping up as well. I would say, I'm going to say around $400, sometimes even $500 for your state uniforms. Things that you can bring from the other country, if you know what school you're going to be going to. Most of the schools, I would say 95% of the schools here have black school shoes. So if you've got black school shoes in the country you're living in now, bring the black school shoes with you as well. And white socks, things like that. So that's all pretty standard here. If you've got those things, then pop them in with your air luggage, not your container, in case the kids have started school. And you'll be able to reuse those. So I hope that's been helpful. Oh, just one more tip before I go. Consider the time of year that you're coming. Given that children grow so quickly, we have a very long summer break. Now, if you're arriving for the start of term 4, so term 4 starts usually in October, that's summer uniform. And summer uniform is worn in term 1 and term 4. So there's a big difference in how your child's going to grow between those terms. So I know we can't, change our move date just based on buying school uniform. It's not that big of in the scheme of things, it's not that big of an expense that it would influence your move date. But just be aware of it. So if you're arriving in term 1, so for January arrival, you want to be buying that uniform just before they start school. But you're only going to get 1 term out of that. And then around April, they'll go into winter uniform until October. So if you're arriving in term 4, you're going to buy summer uniform. They might grow out of it before term 1 and definitely would grow out of it by the following October. So just bear all that in mind when you're moving. Thanks very much. If you have a question for me, don't hesitate to email us at info@personnelrelocations.com.au or just put your question in the comments and I'll do my best to answer it. Thanks. Take care.